First order of business is the approval of minutes for March 16th. Give you just a little bit to take a quick look. You haven't had a chance yet?
Reviewing the minutes, they seem to be in order, so I make a motion that we approve them.
We have a motion by Councilor Claus. Do I hear a second? Second. Second by Jerry Voss. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we'll go into recognition of visitors. We've got a list tonight. First of all, we're going to start out with a proclamation presentation to CASA. And Aaron Jones, I believe, is here tonight. I'm doing this on behalf of the mayor. And if you'll just come up forward here, we'll take care of this. As I said, I'm doing this on behalf of the mayor and the city of Warsaw. Proclamation is to CASA, whereas April was declared Child Abuse Prevention Month by Presidential Proclamation in 1883. And CASA of Kosciuszko County is a nonprofit organization committed to speaking in the best interest of children. Whereas in 2025, Kosciuszko County Department of Child Services assessed 1,555 reports of abuse and neglect, and 89 children currently removed from a home due to abuse and neglect. CASA has donated, or their volunteers have donated, over 5,300 hours of time advocating for children. Whereas it is imperative that we acquire a working knowledge of the phenomenon of child abuse and neglect, and that we demonstrate support for work of both professionals and volunteers involved in providing child protection, rehabilitation, and prevention services. Now therefore, be it resolved, I, Jeff R. Gross, Mayor of the City of Warsaw, do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. Present that to you, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron, you have a few words that you would like to say?
I do. I always have a few words to say. Okay, you want me to go over here, or are we gonna take a picture?
You can take whichever way you want to do it.
We can go ahead and take
Okay,
a
sorry.
picture. No.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you. So I'll try to be brief, which is not usually in my nature, but as Mr. Wilhite stated, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month in the United States. The goal was simple but powerful to have this month. It was to raise awareness that preventing child abuse is a shared responsibility between families, communities, and systems. Over time, the movement has grown, and one of its most recognizable symbols is that of the blue and silver pinwheel. We had our quote-unquote pinwheel planting garden on Wednesday, but due to the weather, that did not occur. However, we did have a great turnout of speakers and audience members. We will be planting a pinwheel garden at some point, and we'll announce that. We just want to make sure the weather's good and that they get the courthouse lawn mowed before we do that. CASA often gets involved in the cases once abuse and neglect has happened. However, we have focused a lot of grant monies as well as staff time to providing advocacy in some other cases where the court appoints us and believes there could be a safety issue, although it may not have gotten yet to the point of abuse and neglect. And we increased our role in those cases by 64% between 2024 and 2025. So we are trying to get into that prevention role a little bit more, as well as serving all the child abuse, all the children that have been abused and neglected, and have a court case in Kosciuszko County. We have to serve each one of those children. I'm a stats person. To date, we've served 149 children this year. As of today, that's only 50 less than what we did in total last year. We have 41 active volunteers, And we graduated 8 new volunteers already this year, and we'll be starting a new training class on April 30th. So if you're interested in learning more about training or CASA in general, you can contact our office or go to casachildren.com. So, thank you.
Let's give Aaron the next one up will be Peggy Friday and representing KEDCO.
Good evening, council. Tonight is a moment of pride, not for one person nor one organization, but for an entire community. Kosciuszko County was recently named Community of the Year by the Indiana State Chamber of Commerce. That recognition did not happen by accident. It happens because people show up, invest, lead, and believe in something bigger than themselves. This award belongs to us all. It belongs to the business owners who took risks, to the educators shaping our future workforce, to local leaders who made bold decisions, to volunteers who quietly serve behind the scenes, and to every resident who chooses every single day to call Kosciuszko County home and make it better. While no single person or organization can claim this honor, we do want to recognize that the All in Kosciuszko served as the catalyst for this achievement, and that Jim Lancaster helped carry that vision forward through the application process. This is what collaboration looks like when it's done right. But tonight, it's not just about celebrating an award. It's about what that award represents. It represents momentum. It represents belief. It represents what people, when a county aligns around a shared vision for its future. And that's why KEDCO is doing something intentional. We will be presenting a replica of this award to each of the 14 communities across the county. Because excellence doesn't just live in one place. It lives in every town, every neighborhood, every corner of this county. This replica is more than a symbol. It's a reminder that you are part of something exceptional, a reminder that your community helped earn this recognition, and a reminder that the work continues. Because awards are not the finish line, they call us to go even further. So tonight, as we present this replica, we do so with gratitude, with pride, and with a challenge. Let's continue to build, let's continue to collaborate, and let's continue to prove every single day why Kosciuszko County is not just the community of the year, but a community of the future. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. I have to say, I wasn't, as I told you earlier, I didn't know exactly what this was all about, but it's something that they are presenting to us as a what it's a.
It's a community of the year
Yeah,
for the state of Indiana.
and it's a replica of the one they got
Yes.
for the council,
Yes.
so it's for all of us.
Do that like it's good.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
We need to get,
There you go. Awesome.
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we have Fred Helfrich and Nate Jaden Bosch, okay, with Right Walk, and they have a presentation for us.
Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. James Bausch, you guys know Fred really well, I'm sure. As it's stated in the invocation, we're here to celebrate some things, as with Peggy as well. So want to give you kind of an update on what's been happening with Red Walk, also give you kind of a historical perspective as well, kind of catch you up to speed. You hear periodic updates from different committees, from the fire territory, Peggy KEDCO, Nick King at the airport, and also like to give you an update of what's been going on. Some of this information may be new, some of it may be a reminder for you. We're not here with any specific ask. There's nothing here we're asking for at all. I just want to give you a courtesy to let you know what's been going on. The Red Rock Committee is an advisory and advocacy committee focusing on pedestrian and cycling initiatives. We have no ultimate say in anything. We don't have a budget, no direct funding. But we're here to evaluate, guide, and coordinate the community's efforts on those two topics, specifically, obviously, bicycle and pedestrian initiatives. I say those two, but they're very interwoven. What is good for cyclists is good for pedestrians, and what is good for pedestrians is good for all of us, because we are all pedestrians. Even if you drove a vehicle, motorized vehicle here today, you did step out of your vehicle and you walked to the door, and thus we are all pedestrians. And thus we all benefit from having good infrastructure and a good community. We're a large community, large committee, and you may ask, why do we participate if we have no authority, if we have no budget, why do we belong, why are we a part of it? The reason for that is we have seen firsthand and experienced firsthand what pedestrian and bicycle-friendly communities are like. Not only across our state, but other states, and even internationally. We've visited places and we've seen the benefits that come from creating a culture that is friendly to cyclists and to pedestrians. Some of these benefits include higher property values, which thus means an increased tax basis, increased local retail spending along pedestrian and bicycling friendly corridors. You can ask the chamber or visit communities along the Monon Trail, especially in Hamilton County, for examples of that. We see it create tourism and a destination economy. You can ask Corey, who sits on our committee, the Visitors Bureau. You can also visit the Nickel Plate Trail between Kokomo and Rochester, or Pumpkin and Vine Trail and Elkhart to see how it changes the economy there. With less reliance on daily use of motorized vehicles, we see lower transportation costs for households and thus an improvement in their budget, more flexibility there. We also see a reduction in public health care costs, and you can see the Indiana Department of Health, who funded our very first grant, which Fred may mention here in a few minutes. There's also a very strong correlation with talent attraction and workforce development, and you can ask our friends at OrthoWorks. And finally, not exhaustively, there's a strong correlation between bike ped improvements in economic development and redevelopment. Anecdotally, as a real estate broker, I can say very frequently, buyers that I meet with, there's a big draw towards our greenways, our bike paths. I've never had a client say, no, I want to be away from those areas. You know, it's always, I would like to be as close to those as possible. So those are some of the reasons that we volunteer our time to be on this committee and serve in this way. Fred's going to give a little bit of historical context of how we got to where we are now, how the committee was formed.
Try. Well, so I'm going to turn the clock back a little bit this evening. In the mid-1990s, there was a series of KLA white papers, Kosciuszko Leadership Academy, and the subject of those was greenways in our community. At that point in time, we didn't have any greenways in our community, but there were an interest bubbling up. Notably, those white papers defined the term of bikeways as multi-use trails for pedestrian and cyclists, and today we would call micro-mobility users. These KLA efforts brought about the establishment of the Lake City Greenway Committee. The committee was behind the construction of the Buyer Farm Trail, the Heritage Trail in Winona Lake, and the Chinworth Bridge Trail west of town. Following these successful projects, the committee kind of stalled out a little bit. KCB, KCB Cycling Club, along with some other interested local parties, started what was referred to as the Bicycle Advisory Committee to promote connecting the separate parts of the greenways that we have scattered around town to make those interchangeable. And also, at this time, Mayor Talmer got involved and got behind the project and provided some impetus to keep things moving forward. So in May 2011, we meaning KCV, Bicycle purpose of the seminars we saw locally was to take the pulse of the community to find out if it was time to get serious about this aspect of our community and apply for recognition by the National Bike League for recognition as a bicycle-friendly community. It should be said that at that time there were 4 bicycle-friendly communities in Indiana: South Bend, Bloomington, Indianapolis, and Carmel. And we got a very positive response from the people that attended this session and felt like it was important to begin to move forward. Interestingly enough, there were about a dozen such seminars around the state that Bicycle Indiana and the Department of Health sponsored that spring. And as a result of our seminar here, the Department of Health awarded us a $50,000 gift for a grant to apply for providing a master plan for the community, a bicycle pedestrian master plan. That pedestrian grant was a kind of a formal formation of the Ride Block Warsaw Mineral Lake Committee, kind of was a spin-off from that. In the winter of 2011, that winter, we applied for bicycle-friendly community status and found out in May of 2012 that our application didn't pass muster. But thanks to the momentum that we gained from that seminar in 2011, we reapplied in 2012 and received a bronze level bicycle-friendly community status. So that was 13 years ago, and since then we've moved up to a silver level status. Interestingly enough, along with those 4 communities that I mentioned, Carmel, Indianapolis, Bloomington, and South Bend have all moved up in their status as well. There it is.
So, you've heard a little bit of history of how we got to this point. I'm maybe curious to know who's involved in this committee. Started off as a relatively small group, but very focused on Warsaw, Winona Lake. In the past few years, it's expanded to the entire community, to the entire county, that is. So we meet on a monthly basis, but every 3rd month it is focused on the entire county. So we have representatives from Northwestern, Syracuse, Milford, I'm sure I'm missing a couple others as well. Our community representatives, if you look at our list, it's quite large. About 30 to 32 people are part of that group. It includes people from OrthoWorks, the Chamber, MACOG, Carrie Groninger's been a part of it, obviously the city and the counties, planning departments, and even recently the county parks department as well. Like I said, we have representatives from 7 incorporated communities within our county. Captain Joel Bean has represented the police department, I think, since the beginning. I don't think we've had any other police representative other than Joel. He's been a steadfast member as well. We also have seats for the schools, Grace College, within Health Network, and the Parks Department as well. We estimate that on an annual basis, we have about 900 man-hours in this committee. That's not even for special events, that's not any special projects that we're working on, but just a regular ongoing basis, about 900 man-hours, again, volunteer. When we look at what we've accomplished since the beginning, we look at 5 E's, stand for 5 different categories, and I'll give you some examples of what we've done. In no particular order, the E's are this: so enforcement. Research and update local ordinances to encourage bicycle and pedestrian equity and safety. We encourage enforcement of those codes as well. Most recently, we've been working on a city code for our e-bikes. As you probably know, e-bikes have become very popular, really bringing increased mobility to a lot of community members. They bring a lot with them, but there's some things to be aware of as well. So that's one thing that we're working on currently. The second E stands for education. That's to increase community education courses. We partner with schools and promote safety. Our main focus here historically has been working with Tracy's Trailer and KCV. If you're not familiar with that, Tracy's Trailer is a program that goes into the elementary schools. We are now in every Warsaw Community School, elementary school, plus Lakeland, Sacred Heart. There's 10 in total. We go every 3rd grader. It's a 5-week program, and we go into the classrooms, teach about bike safety. They receive a free helmet, and then it ends with a bike rodeo as well. So we're very proud of the fact that we've grown to the fact to see every local Elementary School. The third E is evaluation and planning. We look at development standards like complete streets ordinances for public and private development. The fourth E is engineering. We want to begin and complete work on new bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. Fifth and finally, encouragement and fundraising. So we support community events regarding cycling and walking activities. We develop maps and we conduct fundraising for infrastructure and non-infrastructure projects. So in light of that framework, here are some of the notable improvements the group has made over the last nearly 13 years, more than that, I guess closer to 15 years. Obviously, the development of the pedestrian cycling master plan that we received that grant from Indiana Department of Health. There's been numerous infrastructure projects, too many to name. Personally, I used to live on Market Street when that was being redeveloped, and our family of young kids, we really enjoyed living there and taking advantage of the redevelopment there, walking and biking along there to go to schools, downtown library, friends' homes. That was a really big draw for us as a family. Also worked in collaboration with the Krebs Trailhead Park, the West Center Street Project, multiple grant applications, and then you may recall in March of '24 we invited you, what we call the local leaders ride along. We invited you to ride or walk along from downtown, kind of a loop through the Near East neighborhood, just to look at some of the pedestrian and cycling infrastructure concerns there. We've seen development of miles of side paths, participated in the large and extensive sidewalk project between Main and Sheridan, just west of here, Westwood Lake Elementary School, which is something to be very proud of. I think it really revitalized that neighborhood. That was a big change. Something not tangible, but I think is an improvement, is there's a level of mindset change in our community. Creating a more welcoming environment and a safe place for cyclists and pedestrians. We see very, very few instances of close calls with motorists and cyclists as well. Sometimes, we're all fish in a fishbowl, we forget that we're swimming. And sometimes it takes either getting out of our community and seeing something different, or it also means people coming to our community and visiting. Oftentimes when folks come here for the large fat and skinny tire festival or to make use of our trails here, we hear from them how good a community that is, how blessed we have it here in terms of the infrastructure, but just the fact that it is a bicycle pedestrian friendly community. As Peggy said, we don't want to rest on our laurels for that. That's something we want to continue to push forward with. Bicycle Indiana regularly touts Warsaw and Monument Lake for our trails, the events, and the infrastructure that's here. Also, one of the fruit of the labor of this committee was the development of the County Parks Board. That grew out of our community, out of this committee. And then we also participated in the bike share program. You may have seen those bikes around. So that was another thing that we've worked on. Looking forward to the future, we want to continue the execution of the existing master plan. We want to see connection between the communities of Winona Lake and Kirsten, North Webster and Syracuse. We want to eventually connect here to Mentone, from here to Milford as well. We want to live out the complete street mindset so that all users of the public way have safe passage. And we want to work alongside government leaders as advisors and leaders in this realm. Obviously, we want to see progress with projects. It doesn't mean a new project every month or every quarter or even every year, but we want to see progress on those projects. Again, to reiterate what Peggy said, we want to look back at the things that we've done well, but we want to push forward in that as well. Any questions at all?
Any questions from the council?
Appreciate your time. Our goal is to come before you on a more regular basis, so that you can see us and hear what's going on. It won't take as much time, but we wanted to take a few extra minutes this time to kind of catch you up to speed with where we've been for the last 15 years.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to reports, oral and written communications now. We have a report by Jeremy Skinner with the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, this is just the yearly report that will be presented to the Redevelopment Commission on April 13th, and it needed to be presented to the council before April 15th. I'm not going to go into it, it's just for your information, and then obviously if you want, you can come to the presentation on April 13th at the Redevelopment Commission meeting. start to do our budgets in a couple of months. I know I hate saying that, because it seems like we just finished doing it, but, that time is coming around the corner really fast, so this will be a helpful guide, as, you review those budgets, in the near future. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Questions for Jeremy? Thank you. Okay, no more reports. We have no unfinished business. New business, we had come before us, I got a walk-on right here. This is, I'll do this, and then since you got a bum, or you don't have bypass yet. We had, we've been discussing the, Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and Indiana Arts Commission, and Main Street's proposals for, to apply for some grant money for the Main Street projects. Would you like to, Terry, would you like to give a short, maybe summary of the request? I've handed out these, letters of support from the mayor, and, for your reading, Terry, I'll pass this on to you.
Thank you. So Lilly Endowment and Indiana Economic Development Corporation have partnered to create two different grants. One is called the Arts and Culture Grant. Another one is the Blight Removal Grant. We're asking for support for making an application for projects contained in the Cultural District Plan. That was a 7-month planning process that was concluded in November when we released the plan.
Okay, Jeremy, would you like to, I know you were part of the discussion, and, could add to this. This is a proposal for a grant request, right?
Yes, so what Terry's group, in conjunction with the city of Warsaw, is asking for, based on the mayor's request, is that the city council give approval to him, to submit, letters of support on behalf of the projects that we're submitting for these grants. There's two different letters, because there's two different grant, pools of money. One associated with Blight, and the other associated with arts and culture. So as has been presented to you in the past, those projects that align with the arts and culture would be a part of that support letter, and those that would align with the Blight would be supported by that letter. These applications are due April 15th. Terry's group has been diligently working on putting this together, and this would be one of the final pieces of that application, is basically just recognition from the city of Warsaw and support of our submission.
You know, it seems like this came all of a sudden, and it seems like this happens frequently. But it had nothing to do with Warsaw Main Street holding it or anything, or not jumping on the bandwagon or getting it done in time for us to take a look at it. As much as it does, that they give you this window, and as I understand it, and the window started
February 15th.
February 15th,
Yeah.
and when did we become aware of it?
February 17th is when the Northeast Indiana Redevelopment Board of Review.
Okay. And then took a while to get the proposal together to bring before us, and I think we just learned about this just,
Yeah, and to go back a few steps, some of you may or may not be realize this, but this money was allocated under the former governor as part of Ready 2. So when the former governor did the Ready 2 money, Lilly piggybacked with $250 million to go along with those funds. But their funds were restricted to arts and culture and Blight. As
we work through that project, with the state, and they're ready to, and each district, region did their submission, at one point, the Lilly kind of pulled back and wanted some more dedicated thought into the projects that were submitted, that were associated with that 250, the blight and arts and culture. Each region then was giving money to do a cultural district plan, regional plan. At the same time we were doing that, we were doing our own cultural district plan, so that we could go after these funds. So it's kind of been in a long time in the coming, but what we didn't know up until recently was what the deadline was. So they put the money out there, they pulled the money back and said, oh, we want more thought put into how we're going to spend this money. They created a plan to move forward with it, and that plan came February 15th, and now they're ready to start with project submissions. Terry's group has diligently worked over the last month to prepare us for these submissions.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times these things come, honest, and don't give us enough time to think about it, but I wanted everyone to understand that, it's not on, it's not by any fault of Main Street or, any of us, holding it back or anything like that, waiting for the last minute to pop it, but, a lot of times these things, they just, that's the way they happen, and we get a chance to react. It's my understanding that, there are going to be many applicants. How many did we anticipate?
I think there are probably gonna be 400 some projects in it.
And probably we only have maybe a better chance of getting it because a lot of these things have been in the works for a while. So this is a plan for us that we've kind of had put together for quite some time, maybe not quite in the form that we've gotten it recently, but that gives us a leg up. Having said that, also, this is just a request to request grant money. It does not force us to go forward with the project if we get the grant money. It does have us move forward with our thoughts on how we want to approach the government. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, so if we were awarded the grant, we still have to make the projects feasible, right? So
Right.
we've created the projects, we've created the funding stacks, we've created the applications to go in. If we were awarded that money, then we would have to actually build the project out to its fruition. And that would involve a lot of other approvals along the way. It would not just be this letter, obviously. There would be redevelopment commission approvals, depending on the project and its funding mechanism, outside, whether there would be ORRI money in it, or other funding pots of money. All of that would have to come after the fact. At this point, what we're doing is presenting a cohesive plan to them that this letter talks about supporting.
Does council have any questions or comments that they'd like to make?
I think perhaps the first paragraph in this is one of the most important when you look at a 2-year process and you look at the list, City of Warsaw, Warsaw Community Development Corporation, Main Street Warsaw, Kosciuszko County Government, Kosciuszko Economic Development Corporation, Kosciuszko County Chamber, Ortho Works, and other community partners. So there are a number of partners that are going together to look at this opportunity to obtain money and bring it into our community so that then we can leverage
these items, we have been on the radar of the council for quite a few years. What this does is gives the city an opportunity to get a substantial amount of matching funds to help move those forward, should we decide to go ahead and do that. Any other questions or comments? They'll be looking for us tonight to, by voice vote or whatever, I think we can do it.
We need a resolution
It has
or just a voice
We
vote?
don't have a resolution before us, do we?
Just the folks say, basically, what the mayor had requested was the council's vote or blessing to submit this letter of support.
Both of them at once or singly?
Both of them at once, yeah. They kind of go hand in hand.
And just keep in mind, this does not commit us to these long-term projects. It commits us to continuing to take steps towards that. And they, as Jeremy said, they rise or fall on their own merits, so. Any other comments?
Do we just need a consensus to
Call the question.
We just need to, see if everybody, or see if we have enough votes to support these support letters. And I don't know if I need to look for a motion or
I would do a motion.
just do it, yeah. So I am looking for a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion that we lend our support to the application for both of these grants, the Ready 2.0 Arts and Culture Initiative Grant and the Ready 2.0 Blight Removal Grant.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Fonz.
So are you supporting the application of the grant? Is that what you need to have? I'm
Yes.
sort of confused about that. Okay.
I mean, Main Street is the applicant, we're
Right.
supporting that application, yeah.
So in support of the letters.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I will ask the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no? Looks like the ayes have it. I believe that was unanimous. Okay. All right, thank you
Thank you.
very much. Okay, that gets us through walk-on business, new business. Are there any other matters from the council that may come
Yes,
before?
the library director asked me to remind you that they are holding 2 sessions for us. She wanted me to inform you that they will have the construction manager there to answer very specific questions that the council has brought up about construction costs and exactly what the breakdown is in each category for what each thing costs. And she's only heard from 2 of us confirming that we will attend these meetings. So if you need to look through your, one is the 14th, I know that's one I'm going to. Is the other one the 22nd? But she asked that you again review your email where she sent you an invitation to come and attend. You asked them very specific questions, and she's going to have the experts there to answer those questions. So if you want the answers that you asked for, we need to attend.
Are both the meetings on the same subject, Diane?
Yes, they're both
Okay.
on the same
And it's on
subject,
April.
because only 3 of us can attend at a time.
And And you said April 14th and 20th?
22nd, I think. Did you say 22nd?
I'm not positive, I'll have to find it, email.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Heather and make sure that we get that information back out again to everyone. I'll try to get that done tomorrow. So that's because I know a lot of members on the council were very concerned about construction costs. And I think it's imperative that we talk to those who actually know what it should cost, those who are putting the numbers together. And it sounds like she's put together the people that we need to talk to feel comfortable with what they've got. So I'll make sure that gets done tomorrow. Any other matters from the council? Okay. We have no items to carry forward. We'll open this up for visitors' questions and comments. We've got a number of visitors here.
We have an issue about the terrible flooding in White Lake.
Okay, well, if you'd step forward, give your name, please.
I might not be able to be nice.
You're familiar with this arena, aren't you? If I remember correctly?
Jerry Patterson, the cheese and practice.
Okay.
As you know, we had a bad flood.
Could you state your name for me,
I'm Kathy
please?
Patterson. We had a bad rain. The water started getting higher. My neighbor across the street, where the railroad is, it starts to flood. He called the number that we're supposed to call, and he was told, you have to come out and make your own sandbags, and you have to take it home yourself. In the past, I brought up my neighbor who's been at that house her house for 31 years. In the past, the city has always watched the water and has always delivered the sandbags. This year, that did not happen. So, I am a member of the Pike Lake Club or committee or whatever, and people don't know what to do. No one knew what to do. So, I got a hold of Diane, and I left a message, I didn't get a phone call. Linda called, Diane did not know what to do. She had to check into it. She didn't think it was that bad. The thing is that if you guys aren't in where we are, you can't see what is going on. But because they waited so long and they said, well, no one requested sandbags. We've never had to in the past. The city has always brought them in. So now, my neighbors, when they finally brought it Saturday at 5 o'clock, my neighbors across the street have it the worst. The people in the White House right by the dam, right by the bridge, they have no heat now because the water is so bad. That's gone into their ductwork, kicked out their furnace. Their whole house is totally surrounded by water. I can't drive my car because it's over 12 inches deep. I don't know what needs to be done, but something's not right here. There needs to be a policy or something that everybody knows. When the water, and I even looked up the water table. April 1st, when my neighbor called, the water started going up. And it went up and up and up, and nothing was delivered until April 4th, when it was way up. And by then it's too late. Those two houses are totally surrounded by water. So I don't know what the council needs to do. I don't know if the DNR needs to get involved with cleaning out a ditch or what, but something has to be done, because that's just not right. So that family's home is ruined, and I don't know if the sandbags would have helped, I don't know. But now they have no heat, and it's cold, and their floors are all wet, it's in their house. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So,
put out sandbags.
The lady,
I'm one of them.
87-year-old lady, got her sandbags today, and it's too late. And now, they're sitting in the front yard. Used to be, if I'm correct, inmates used to come and put sandbags around. The fire department would come and put sandbags around. Jerry talked to Dustin Dillon today, and he said there are groups that you can call that will volunteer. Why don't we know about that? Why doesn't anybody know about that? I mean, I'm really upset. I mean, my house is dry, but their houses are bad. And some people should know. Who takes care of the water alert? Who takes care of the water alert? That thing that's by the dam that keeps track of the water? There's a thing on here that somebody should have been hooked up to the water alert, so that we knew. So the bags would come out. So anyway, I'm upset. I feel so bad for those two families. So I don't know what you're gonna do about it, but something has to be done. Anybody else?
I would encourage everybody to drive over there and take a look at it.
It's bad.
It is bad.
But go slow, because we have people just flying through there.
Oh, we
and
had
the road is closed. The sign says road closed.
We had an ambulance today, Lutheran ambulance, drive in, oh, the road's closed, back out and leave. There's 4 signs to the bridge, and they drove all the way up, and the road's closed.
They can't deliver our mail because they can't get
Nope.
to the mailbox.
Can't get to the mailbox.
It's over a foot deep in the road.